Woo-wee! I tell you the absolute truth. So we have this British journalist by the name of Shante Joseph who is saying that having a boyfriend is embarrassing now. I read through her article and I will post it in the description box. All I read was more feminist drivel. Years ago, it was, I'm not pressed to be married. Then it turned into marriage is not a goal. And I've actually asked women online when they make that declaration, I never, ever, 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 ever get a response back. Now women are saying, well, now this particular woman is saying that having a boyfriend is not a goal. And what I gathered is she's saying that they're leveling up. Men, not so much, are trying to catch up to them. And she said that men tend to be more right-leaning, which I've said before, men are still more traditional at heart than women are. She said women are more left-leaning, and we know that the Democrats and left-leaning tend to not be pro-marriage, pro-family, pro-nuclear family, pro the man is the head, the woman is submissive, etc., etc., etc. So when you read or hear comments like this woman made, you see now why studies are showing that by 2030, I think 40% of women will never have been married and no children. And when I saw that the other day on another platform, you had the women saying things like, good. Who says that we need to be married or want to be married? And that's that we again. I've said that before. Why is it these women who claim to not want husbands or a man, they always have to say we? Why not say I don't want a husband? Stop saying we. And unfortunately, this feminist allure is pulling young women who are still figuring out themselves and figuring out the world around them, is pulling a lot of young women into their spider's web. So this is where you get, a lot of these older boss babes, strong and independent women who eventually get to that point in their lives where they do want to circle back and get that husband that they claim that they didn't want during their formative years. So going back to this woman saying that having a boyfriend now is embarrassing. Why do you young ladies keep listening to these clearly misandrous, man-hating women? Why? And you know what? If you are a misandrous and a man-hating woman, cool. But my thing is, I don't want to hear any complaints 10, 15, 20 years down the road. That is the main thing that people are tired of from these strong, independent, don't need a man, I don't need to be married, my career is everything. We don't want to hear y'all's complaints later. So something else this journalist said was that some women did not want to showcase their man on social media for fear of, other women coming for their man. You also had women losing followers once it was discovered that she had a boyfriend. One thing I haven't really heard in this woman speaking was husband. Maybe I glossed over it. I don't know. But one thing I've found about a lot of modern women, because I don't think that this is a traditional woman's issue. I don't see us being upset about, it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend, because we tend to be pro marriage platforms and we tend to be married. So one thing that I've noticed about modern women is they bond over their shared hatred of men. They bond over all being done wrong by men. Typically it's men. And this is one thing, going off on a tangent, that I used to try to warn women about. Being promiscuous, it takes you down a dark path. That's why a lot of these women hate men, or they claim to hate men. I don't think they really hate men as much as they've been jaded and hurt. So to use Lizzo as an example, I follow her on Instagram. And I remember when she started losing weight, and I was reading the comments from some of her fans, and they were telling her, don't lose any more weight. You were an inspiration for us plus size girls. And this one comment, I can't even remember how it was worded, but it wasn't good. She was basically telling Lizzo, stay fat. So women, again, they like to bond in their singleness. They like to bond in unhealthy situations. And this whole having a boyfriend is embarrassing is ridiculous. So my petition is to young women who have not been jaded and who have not been, and who are not bitter. This is precisely why I tell you ladies to get away from the sisterhood and feminism, because it's getting darker and darker as the years go by.